is up, you guys? So today I'm going to show you guys how to make this kind of signature sound I've sort of come up with. It's really easy to do, so I'll show you guys exactly how to do it. And as a matter of fact, before I did this tutorial, I was kind of figuring out how it would explain certain things, but I realized this is so simple and so sample based that I'm just going to give you guys this rack right here. So pretty much everything that's inside of this, I'm going to give this out on my Facebook. So it's an Ableton rack. So if you don't use Ableton racks, or you don't really know how to make them, they're really easy. So the video is kind of more about that, and I'll go over the sound in just a sec. So as you can see, I have a folder in my computer called Ableton Racks. So if you're in Ableton Live 9 or Ableton 8, you can add folders to your side, and just quick folders you can go search and blah blah. So like I have a bunch of things I use all the time, like right here. So it's mostly sample stuff. So this is my Ableton rack folder, and I make tons of racks. I have more racks than my other computers, but I just kind of started making them again for this computer. And so it's a really easy way to, save a signature sound and load it up. So I have all sorts of like FM growl stuff here that takes a long time to make and route. Just easy to go. So like this is one rack that's just ready to go. So you can see what comes in a rack could be like all sorts of plugins and stuff like that. So if I lower this, because I know it's gonna be loud. So yeah, that would take a very long time to make, from FM 8 to the whole patch and the EQ routing and blah blah blah. So this would take a long time, but I just saved it in a rack, so it's really quick. So that's the kind of thing that you can do with racks. And so I'll be giving away this one. So it's this whole folder. So let me just drag it down here. So I'll give you everything that comes in here, so the sample as well. So that way you can do this yourself. And then you can now play this part. So I kind of like doing those kind of like sample based stuff, because usually if whatever I hear in my head I can make inside of Silent or Massive or other synthesizers, but I like to kind of come up with unique things through samples. So this sample is just one of those free samples I found online through one of those sites that gives out free stuff. So definitely try to find more of those kind of things. Try to find as much free stuff as possible, because there's a whole bunch of hype behind like the Vengeance stuff and things like that. Honestly, they're just samples, no good. They're not better than anything else that's out there, and it's really how you use them that really matters anyway. So I definitely give away a lot of free stuff on my Facebook, like presets, sessions, and a little bit of samples here and there. I kind of make it a sample pack, so maybe around that time I'll give out some free stuff when I'm ready to release that. But anyway, so this is kind of what I did here inside the simpler. So things to know about samplers inside of Ableton or the simpler. So the sampler or the simpler. To play the original untransposed version of that note, the original version of that note is C3. It'll always be that, unless you change a preference or something like that for the simpler or the sampler. So if you play C3 on your keyboard, or the note C3, it's going to play the original note, the original sample. And as soon as you start to play higher notes or lower notes, if you play lower notes, it's going to transpose that sample down, or play. It's kind of like key tracking. So depending on what you play, it's going to play it to that at that different speed. So it's not really about notes; it's about the speed of the sample. So if you play a C4, which is a direct octave higher than C3, it's going to play it so and so faster. So the only thing I did here was I transposed this. I played C3 on my keyboard, so the original note, and then I transposed it at 5 steps, so that way it would be in the C key, so that way I could play my C minor scales, and it would be in key. And let's see, what else was I gonna say about that? So I'll show you kind of what I was playing. So I'm playing this whole thing around the C4 octave, so around octave 4, so it's kind of high up. If I was to bring this all down to like down 1 octave. Holy shit, that sounded cool. I don't think I tried that version of it. Well, whatever. So yeah, you can see where I played it, and I made myself a C minor scale on the side here, so I could fold it and only play, C minor scale notes. And I have a video on that. I think it's called scales and stuff, or I'm not sure what it's called, but it's there. So these are kind of the notes I'm playing if you want to get an idea of what I'm playing, and play around with velocity too, you guys, because I mess around with velocity a lot. So a good example is if you just select a bunch of notes or just one note at a time and press Command on Mac or Control on PC, you see this little arrow thing, double-sided arrow thing pop up, and that's an indicator for the velocity. So you can now drag your velocity up and down. I had mine at 100. So, play around velocity, because sometimes I'll have like a bunch of notes on different velocities, and it gives it a really interesting feeling. It doesn't feel so computerized and so digital. Kind of has it just has more momentum. So I brought the velocity all the way down, so it's probably going to be louder because of the sample. So I just set it back to 100, but I kind of played around with it so you guys could get an idea of what velocity is. Velocity is sort of about the trigger, and it kind of has nothing to do with volume, but sometimes it affects it, and it has nothing to do with tones, but sometimes it affects that. Velocity is really just the way it triggers and that kind of thing. So yeah, and everything else that's here is, again, just a high pass filter. This is something I throw on most things that isn't a kick or a bass. So it's just cutting out the low frequencies so that it doesn't conflict with my kick. So it leaves plenty of room for my kick to be big and low end. And then, of course, the sidechain, just to sidechain it to my sidechain kick. So the kick that I chose to sidechain that's never playing, it's just always off, not even routed to the master. And it's just there to sidechain everything. So again, this is all very basic and very easy to do, so I'm going to give you guys the sample so that you can get this exact same noise yourselves, but also play around with different samples, because I never really like to use the same stuff over and over, and if I feel like I do want to use something over, I'll create a rack for it, and I'll see if I use it ever again. But I'm going to try to keep this sound, I'm going to keep trying to bring this sound back, because I really like this little signature airy pluck, this kind of noisy plucked sound, so I kind of like that, and I'll probably be using this more in my own tracks. But yeah, also if you want to hear this whole song right here, this whole track here, it's on my SoundCloud. It's called Enigma. I just uploaded it like 2 days ago, so whatever. That's sort of the end of the video anyway. So again, like, subscribe, blah blah blah, all that YouTube stuff. Check out the links below for SoundCloud and blah blah blah. And of course, my Facebook, where you'll be able to download this rack right here. And thanks, guys, for watching. You guys are the best. So, lates. And have a nice day also.